Patrick Bet-David, a successful entrepreneur and author, discusses the concept of choosing your enemies wisely in a thought-provoking and insightful conversation. He delves into the idea that having enemies can drive a person to achieve greatness and bring out a side of them that they never knew existed. Bet-David emphasizes that everyone has enemies, whether they openly acknowledge it or not. He believes that competition and enemies play a crucial role in motivating individuals to excel and achieve their goals. He draws parallels between the function of enemies and the function of falling in love, highlighting the exhilarating risk and excitement that comes with both. The conversation also touches on the importance of evolving and maturing as an individual, especially in relation to the enemies that drive a person. Bet-David uses examples of historical figures such as Winston Churchill and modern-day leaders like Elon Musk and Steve Jobs to illustrate the impact of choosing enemies wisely and the evolution of one's enemies over time. The discussion also delves into the difference between competitors and enemies, with Bet-David emphasizing that enemies go beyond mere competition. He provides examples of individuals who have used their enemies as fuel to achieve greatness, such as Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan in the world of sports, and Steve Jobs and Elon Musk in the business world. Bet-David also discusses the evolution of leadership styles, citing examples of leaders who have transitioned from dominance to prestige as they mature and grow in their respective fields. He also touches on the concept of enemies of convenience, highlighting how public figures and celebrities often engage in public feuds for the sake of optics and publicity. Bet-David discusses the culture war surrounding Disney's decision to cast Rachel Zegler as Snow White and the impact it may have on young girls. He believes that the messaging being given to young girls is dangerous and could lead to a generation of fragile and narcissistic individuals. He also emphasizes the importance of choosing enemies wisely and the potential consequences of aligning with the wrong movements. The conversation then shifts to the modern dating scene, with Bet-David sharing his thoughts on the transactional and strategic nature of dating apps. He highlights the importance of having conversations with children early on about relationships and values, and how the dating scene today is very different from when he was single. Bet-David also delves into the concept of being impressed by the right things, drawing from a story about the history of the pineapple and the value-difficulty conflation. He emphasizes the importance of valuing relationships, principles, and authenticity over material possessions and the difficulty of obtaining them. The discussion then turns to Dana White and Elon Musk, with Bet-David drawing parallels between the two leaders and their respective organizations. He praises Dana White for his authenticity and leadership style, comparing him to a wartime leader who has made UFC what it is today. He also discusses the impact of authenticity and the trust it builds with followers. Bet-David shares his quote, "When you're winning, you're not as good as you think you are. When you're losing, you're not as bad as you think you are," emphasizing the need for humility and self-awareness in both success and failure. The conversation then shifts to the topic of trust. He emphasizes the need for skepticism and critical thinking, especially in today's world where trust in mainstream media and government is at an all-time low. He also discusses the obligation to have a take on everything, especially for those whose background is directly affected by certain issues. However, he acknowledges the difficulty of keeping up with every current event and the pressure to comment on everything, especially when people are looking for support rather than just a comment. The conversation also touches on the rise of amateur podcasters and the decline of trust in mainstream media. Bet-David highlights the difficulty of maintaining audience attention for long periods without breaks or scripted content, and the challenges faced by late-night hosts when transitioning to podcasting. The discussion also delves into the tension between providing opportunities for children while also instilling the value of hard work and resilience. Bet-David shares his concerns about raising children with wealth and the importance of setting up proper estate planning to ensure that the next generation understands the value of money and hard work. One of the key themes discussed by Patrick Bet-David is the impact of family dynamics on society. He emphasizes the importance of responsible parenting and the need for strong family structures. Bet David highlights the negative consequences of incentivizing bad behavior through entitlement programs, which has led to a lack of father figures in many American households. He also stresses the significance of estate planning and the implementation of the right policies to ensure the well-being of future generations. Furthermore, Bet David delves into the concept of power and its influence on individuals and society. He discusses the motivations behind the pursuit of power, citing examples of individuals driven by a desire for control and influence. He also explores the dynamics of relationships, emphasizing the importance of choosing allies wisely and recognizing the value of mutual benefit in interpersonal connections. Another significant topic addressed by Bet David is the tension between self-love and high standards. He delves into the complexities of human relationships, highlighting the need for honesty and transparency in personal and professional interactions. Bet David emphasizes the importance of understanding the balance between selflessness and selfishness and how it impacts individual behavior and decision-making. Throughout the podcast, Bet David provides thought-provoking insights into various aspects of life, including family, power dynamics, and self-perception. His perspectives shed light on the complexities of human behavior and the importance of understanding the underlying motivations that drive individuals and society as a whole.